Everybody needs to learn from someone. Learning is a process. A lot of people who jump into business without learning what the processes are eventually get crashed along the line. And the reason is not because they don't have the capacity. The reason is because they've missed the process in the first place. So processes are something that you need to learn from. No matter how good you are, you need to learn from someone. You need to have some experiences for you to start up on your own. Because if you don't learn from a place, definitely the lesson you decide not to learn there, your business will teach you. And when it comes to you very huge, that you may not have the potential to actually take care of the needs that is needed at that time.
Bolaji Olukoya. Bolaji Olukoya is a powerhouse in Nigeria's real estate sector, renowned for his ability to transform spaces, redefine luxury, and set new industry benchmarks. As the CEO of RealBiz Global Limited, he has spearheaded the development of premium properties within the city center, combining innovation, sophistication, and strategic foresight to create high-value assets that stand the test of time. A true architect of wealth and opportunity, Bolaji is not just in the business of real estate, he is in the business of legacy building. His investments go beyond structures. They are designed to shape economic growth, inspire excellence, and elevate lifestyles. His approach to leadership is defined by precision, integrity, and a relentless pursuit of excellence, making him a respected force in the industry. Beyond business, Bolaji is deeply committed to people development and empowerment, recognizing that true success is measured by impact. His strategic mentorship and investment in human capital continue to shape the next generation of leaders, solidifying his reputation as a visionary with influence beyond boardrooms. Driven, focused, and intentional in his pursuit of greatness, Bolaji Olukoya is not just creating properties. He is curating the future of real estate in Africa.
If you're joining us for the first time, this is the Business Uncensored Podcast of the Street Banker YouTube channel. And I'm so happy with the boss that I have here today. This is my own Oga. Very dear to my heart because these are fathers that we look up to and brothers that we learn from every day. It's a privilege to have with me here, Mr. Bolaji. And so this episode is going to be a very transforming one. Trust me, you're going to learn a lot. So if you have not, before you join us, I want to beg you, call your family members that are with you, tell them to join us, and I said that you can share this video with your family and friends. So let me take us to my Oga. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
First of all, thank you so much for honoring our invitation in very short notice. Thank you very much. And it's a privilege to be doing this. Okay, so sir, first question I want to ask you is that, who are you, sir?
My name is Bolaji Olukoya. I'm a real estate developer. I'm also a father, husband, and a visionary who has been out for business for the past 15 years. And I've worked under a lot of people, from banking industry to insurance, to owning personal restaurants, to having to do laundries and the rest. So I would say that a little of my journey just work based on achievement and seeing me get to a place I think I need to get to.
Oh, wow. So you said something that I think is very important here. So you've had quite a lot of experience from banking to insurance. So I'm going to take it as if in those experience you were an employee.
Definitely, yes. In some of them, yes.
Okay. So
majority of that was.
so how long were you in the banking and insurance industry, for example?
Okay, so I did insurance and banking for 10 years
Wow.
before starting up a business.
Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm counting the number of years too that I have to go before becoming a key business person like you. 10 years in banking, and this is just my own 5 years in banking. So I want to ask you now, in what you do you think that your experience in the past roles as in business so your experience in banking, in insurance, in real estate, sorry, what do you do before you did restaurant, yeah?
Yes.
Do you think that those experience help you right now in your business as the CEO of Real Biz?
I would say that learning is a constant thing, and the experiences that I had added value to majority of the things I do personally. Right before now, I remember when I used to be a child, and my father owned a bookshop. So right from there, I've been running what they call sales and working under them, and I get paid. While I was small, I remember when we go to school and you come back and you just want to put in one or two into the business, so that at the end of the week, there's a expense given to you to spend. So those things were actually the starting point for me. I remember how we had to go for free jobs most of the time, to just get the idea of this can work, that can work, and those things have actually been a great success and blessing for me while I grow up. I would say banking is one of the uh, best experience I also had, because it gives me the zeal to also work, uh, to be able to wake up as early as possible, running around to make sure I meet up targets and all those things. So every experience I've had has been awesome, and those are the things that have made me who I am today.
Oh wow. So that means if you have to do it again, do you mean you want to start as an employee first before becoming your own business owner?
I would say that everybody needs to learn from somewhere.
Mm.
Learning is a process.
Mm.
A lot of people who jump into business without learning what the processes are, um, eventually get crashed
Mm.
along the line. And the reason is not because they don't have the capacity. The reason is because they've missed the process in the first place. So processes are something that you need to learn from. I don't think, no matter how good you are, you need to learn from someone. You need to have some experiences for you to start up on your own. Because if you don't learn from a place, definitely the lesson you decide not to learn there, your business will teach you. And
Mm.
when it comes to you very huge, that you may not have the potentials to actually take care of the needs that is needed at that time. I was talking to a friend a few weeks ago, and I said, some people say, oh, you don't run this, you don't run banner, you don't do this, you don't do that. And the question I asked is, why would I want to run something I cannot keep?
Mm.
Why would I want to go through something by flying a process? So if I need to get somewhere, I take my time to get to the place. I can't jump from point A to point B without moving. So if you want to also succeed in business, you need to be able to learn from people's mistakes. Then by the time you are getting your own mistakes, you can use some of the things you've learned to walk through what you're facing.
Okay, so you agree that means for you, it's important that people go somewhere, learn first before they say they want to go ahead and start their own.
Definitely. Definitely.
So I have a question that this one because you've answered the question in a way, and no, you've not answered. You've diverted towards that area. So I'm going to ask a question from there. So you said your dad had a bookshop and everything. So if you define your growth, your upbringing, would you say you were born with a silver spoon?
Oh, wow. That's something I tell people, that a lot of people are not born with a silver spoon. I don't have the privilege to enjoy a lot of uh, things, but I would say that my parents really tried during while I was born. I would say they put in their best, and one of the things I could see was done at that time was to give us quality education,
Okay.
and where you have to not just learn from school, but also learn from the house.
Okay.
And from the beginning, while we're growing, we're able to grow through the process of uh, owning a business, running a business, working for people, and trying to fend for yourself. My grandfather will always say that once you're done with your school, you're not my responsibility anymore.
Mm.
I feel you should be able to take care of yourself and take care of the people behind you.
Mm.
So that alone weakens your insight to say that you can't sit down expecting everything to come to you. So in my journey of success, I would also say that it's just been God all the way, because coming to a city where you don't know people, coming to a place where you don't have anybody around that could help you, and you've been able to grow yourself this way, then I can say that it's just been God. And silver spoon, well, not really, not really. We're not suffering, but not as I would say my children are enjoying right now.
So that as you say, your children are. Okay, you know why I laugh? Because I don't know how our children these days are very lucky. We just find out that life is better than what it was for us and even for our parents, and we are thankful for that.
Yeah.
But then there's this saying that strong men make weaker children. And you also see around us that. So I'm going to balance this question from the angle of the fact that we see a trend right now of men becoming, I'm going to use the word docile. So we now see that, okay, so let me paint a more better scenario. I'm sorry, a more evident scenario. We have a lot of people that they were doing women empowerment, trying to get the women to make more, like, be more vocal. In fact, as that, should I take it part again? Okay, we have a lot of people that are doing women empowerment, and luckily for us, we are recording this video on International Women's Day. So to every woman watching this, we celebrate you. Yeah, but at the same time, the men were abandoned. Like, they were not, nobody was shouting for the boy child, nobody was concerned about the boy child. So now we now have women who, as things, to based on the help of the agencies, the NGOs and everything, women are getting up there. But the flip side, you have men that are docile, they are laid backs, and they are not pushing for themselves. And now to that couple with that, now as we are working, our children seem to like have more opportunity than us. Yet they seem to be imbalanced. And the fact that the opportunity you're supposed to get from the fact that I've grown should be more. But now we now have men that are now docile, they don't want to do anything. In fact, we even hear stories of men that are not even responsible for their hope. Though that's a little bit of a digression from our point of conversation, but what do you think about that? What would you like to say to matters like that?
I will just say this from everything I've learned, that train up a child in the way he should grow. That
Okay.
when he grows, he will not depart from it. As short as that verse is in the Bible, it goes a long way for me, because every training, every steps my parents took me through are things that I have not departed from. As much as there is society imbalance, as much as there is society influences on everybody, I ask myself one question, like my grandfather will always say also, that a good name is always better than silver or gold. So if a name that they have kept all these years is something of value to them, why should it spoil during my own time? Then why should I allow my child to also lose interest in valuing a name? So whatever thing you place value on for a child is what the child works with. So if you place value on money, your child tends to only think that money is the only value it needs to protect. So if you train up your child to value the name you're trying to build, you notice that they keep doing the same thing. For instance, Cristiano Ronaldo's son, plays football. Why? He watches his father playing. So he's learning, because we are the first point of contact for a child. You are to shaping their life in the age they are growing. So if you cannot shape in their life while they are growing, then definitely when they grow, they will depart from what you taught them. So if you are not involved in every part of a child's life, you cannot tell me that a man decides to be irresponsible by the time he grew up. The problem has started from the foundation, where the parenting has started. So he has seen his father being useless. He has seen his father doing other things. So he's going to take the first instinct, which says that, oh, my father did not work and he made money. So why should I work? He has seen a lot of things. So that's why I say he cannot put in people of this generation who are more of thinking about how to make it on time than following the process. Now, the reason why a lot of people who are trying to make it on time don't go far is because they have ignored where they're supposed to start from, which is learning and becoming a better person. Self-development. A lot of people don't go through that. They just want to start on the high pace, and you find out that when you start on the high pace, you don't have what to sustain you in that pace. So you eventually sell everything you have just to start all over again.
So one thing you're saying is that as much as possible, most of the times people fail also because of the fact that they don't start small.
Yeah.
That's massive. So now let's come to the industry that you play in. I mean, you play in the real estate industry, and real bees have gone far. So I want to first ask you, at what point did you decide that okay, you want to leave paid job, and say you want to go into business? And was real estate your first business? Or if it's not your first business, what was your first business? And at what point did you decide that okay, I think I'm done with being a paid employee. I want to become an employer myself.
Thank you. I think I would say that businesses has been something I've been doing far before I even gain employment.
Okay.
I remember when I had to go and live with someone, and the question the man asked me was, how many businesses have you failed in first before you want to start another one? And he told me of how he has failed in so many businesses, and right now he's a farmer and everything. And in my head, I asked him questions. But I remember while I was in school, when my parents paid my school fees, how to fend for myself was left to me. So I would look at what my friends need and bring it to the hostel and sell for them. I would see what you have and you don't want to use and you want to waste, and somebody else can buy. I pick it up and go and sell it. So that was my first thinking when it comes to business. I remember while I was growing up, because I went to a private school, and during my years when I was growing, I remember my parents gives me pocket money and a lot. So one of the things I do is I used to keep the pocket money and not spend it the way my friends are spending it. So I have some level of reserve where I keep. Then at the end of the day, I use the same reserve to go and buy something that will generate money. So we have a bookshop and we also sell water.
Okay.
And because I went to a private school, I didn't want people to see me walking pure water on the road. So I will buy the water from my parents, take the water to the bus park, sit inside the taxi that is going, or the bus that is loading to Lagos. Like that. We used to live in Ibadan then,
Okay.
in Molete. So I will sit down inside the bus and share the pure water to the people who are inside the bus. So there's no way you can see me while you're passing. So I know you need the water. I've bought the water. Then water was, I can't even remember, very cheap. So by the time I'm making money, I'm making times 10 of what I'm buying. So it was adding to my money. I was happy. While I was growing up, I was part of the first set of people around my vicinity to actually own a phone. I bought my first car when I was 18. And people were asking, how did I do it? So it was a culture where I learned that in everything you do, there's always a better way you can also generate money for yourself. So as much as I was working for my parents and I was collecting stipends, I was also still trying to do something. And I tell people, if people abroad can do 5 jobs in a day, I have done 3 jobs together in this Nigeria before. And people ask me, are you okay? Yes, I am fine. I know where I'm headed to. And while I was headed there, I knew that I need to kill a level of enjoyment to be able to walk through the process and get what I need to get. So by the time I found myself in paid job, it wasn't as easy as when I used to make some level of cash for myself. But it was a process I needed to know. I needed to learn management. I needed to know how to relate to people more. I needed to see how businesses behave during their downtime. So if I am not attached to a place, I wouldn't have learned all those things. So when I left banking, I said,
How many years ago was that? Sorry.
that was a long time ago. I left banking in 2015 or 2014.
Wow.
Yes, and
That's 11 years ago.
when I left banking, I started a business, a laundry business, and I said to myself then that, oh, I have the clientele base. All these my friends in banking will always give me their clothes. So I was resigning to say that by the time I was doing my maths, because I could put up a project, a business plan myself. So I checked and I said, okay, I could make at least 500, 700,000 every month from my plan. Because if I go to every branches to get their clothes and I supply back the clothes at so amount, lesser than what they get, then I'll be working for a certain number of people. And if I pay this number of amount of money, this should be my return. I did all the calculation, but it didn't work. And I had already resigned. Trying to put up a business, I resigned. But it wasn't a mistake. Because that got me to rethink and reevaluate myself. And I asked myself the question why the little money I saved went down the line. I asked myself the question and said, at this point, if this does not work, what will you do as a business owner? So I went back into the industry again to go and look for a job.
Okay. So you went back to banking?
No, I went to insurance. I started looking for a job again.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And we were like, you said you were not going to work again. I said, well, you don't fall and stay back where you're falling. You pick up your this and that, you move on. So I went back but I didn't leave my business alone. So I got somebody to manage it. I was doing my job. Then from the little place where I was marketing my insurance, talking to people about my insurance, I was also looking for my clients to actually take close there. Till today, the business is still running. I gave it out to the person who was helping me run it at that time. So, and it's still running. That's where I do my laundry currently. So I tell people that businesses, yes, definitely you will fail. There are a lot of challenges that comes with it. But if you don't have where you've learned from, I didn't start real estate just on my own without learning. I worked with someone for 5 years for living. So the experience I had for 5 years was what gave me the confidence. Would I say I've not made mistakes after that time? Yes, I have. But I have learned from where I was coming from. I was able to apply that to what I'm doing and see my own mistake as another milestone to success. So that's what I've been doing.
Okay, so you said something powerful here, and I need to first of all calm down. So if I heard you correctly, what you said was there was a time you left banking to do business and you failed.
Yes.
And you went back.
Yes.
To insurance. How many years did you spend at that insurance that time?
I did insurance for 2.5 years.
2.5 years, then
Yes,
you quit again.
Yes,
To now do what business?
Restaurants, events planning and restaurants.
So how did that one fail?
Well, the restaurant business was something that I would say worked perfectly the way I planned. But for lack of capital, I had to leave it for something that could generate capital to start up something else. Because at some point I noticed that every business, yes, definitely has a way you want to start. And the way you start the business determines how far the business also grows sometimes. So starting small is very relative.
Honestly.
But at the same time, you also have to start in a good place. So the event planning business didn't stop. I was one of the people who planned the best event in Goshen. At the time, Bishop Oyedepo was there.
Okay.
I planned a wedding for a friend of mine who was one of the biggest weddings they had in the place from beginning to the end. So I could say that every step of that were lessons for me. So I could learn from this that was not working to do another thing that was working. So the businesses are still there. They are not functioning as they should be because I am trying to get in what to generate the funds to take those businesses to a better level.
Okay, so as at then. So I want to ask you a question. That means you left paid job twice.
Yes.
So the second time you left paid job and the first time you left, so and then the second time you almost succeeded at least. Not like you succeeded, just that there was no capital injection.
Yes.
what was the difference? Also, okay, the first time I know I've quit, I quitted bank. Pastors of quit. I quit banking. I go back to insurance. I quit insurance. I'm going back to. So before you quit that insurance at that time you were leaving, what were the things you took note of? So that if I am, let's say I also want to leave my banking now to start my business, what are things you watched out for that you can advise, you can share with anybody that wants to quit their paid job to do full-time business?
Well, I think my advice would be don't leave unless you are ready. And it's not just ready by being frustrated, it's ready by your emotional being, your financial responsibility, and how what you expect to become. I would say in the first one when I left, it was something that I felt banking was a scam. I was tired. I needed something better. So I thought I had something very good, which wasn't bad, but it could not take care of the responsibilities I have. So from there, I decided to say to myself, what's the next thing? I went back into paid employment again. I could gather some little fundings. I was getting myself, and I said to myself, okay, because you feel, because this didn't work the way you expected it to work, you didn't fail at it. That's a lesson. Try something again. So that was when I picked up that, and we tried. And while I was trying that, I was happy. I didn't give up. When the whole thing happened, and I said to myself, "Oh, this thing is not generating the kind of funding I also need," I went back into paid employment. And at that time, I had a very juicy offer, which was real estate, and I was happy. And I said to myself, "Oh, this would be the it for me." So before, most people who will tell you they've done or are successful have done several business that's not really failed, but has been a lesson for them. But that shows that they are not giving up. That's why they are successful. So it is in me not giving up that has given me what could generate the funds to start, or those ones I felt were failing. So I would say now that if at the level I am right now, I want to go back into those things I left, I won't even be starting small because I've also gained more experience. And the capacity financially is also available. So it will be a success because I have learned from the mistake I made and how to grow that into a successful business.
Okay, so now I think I've heard something else again. So which was that you left that restaurant and event planning business back to
please.
real estate to be an employee,
Yes, please.
and then you now left the. How many years did you work as an employee in real estate?
5 years.
5 years. You left banking, do paid employment to do your business. After that didn't work, which was the laundry business. After that didn't work, you went back to insurance. You left insurance again. You resigned. You want to go ahead and do your thing. You left that to do events and event planning and restaurants and
Yes,
all.
please.
That didn't work again. You went back to your paid employment, pick up a paid employment and real estate business.
Yes, please.
And then after 5 years of being in real estate business, you now move to start up your own real estate business. So I'm seeing a link here, and I want to ask this question. Could it be that the reason why you didn't do well in your other businesses were because, for example, now you're leaving banking to an entirely different field of laundry, and that's it that you were leaving insurance to an entirely different field of event planning and all. There's no link between them. But the last time you were leaving real estate to still real estate. Could it be that the reason why you didn't do well in those previous businesses was because there's no link between what you were doing prior to that time and the business you're trying? Is there a connection between? So if I'm a banker and I want to start a business, I say, okay, if I want to start a business, but though maybe I don't have money to collect my own bank, I'm like, fine, let me see what I can do. Something still related to banking. Do you think my chances of success will be higher? Considering that I've been playing in that same industry before, than now moving to something outrightly out of the, like, very, very far away from the industry. So I just want to know. Do you understand my question, sir?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
And I would say something that every experience that you gather is not wasted. There's no knowledge lost. And when I mean I left the business I was doing to get a paid employment doesn't mean that the business couldn't survive the test of time. It means my expectations were above what the business was generating, which I was not having patience for. And because of the level, the taste I had to pick up something that could pay my bills because I have a standard at which I live. So because the business couldn't get me in my standard, I won't, out of shame, not look for something else to do to pay my bills. So those things are things that are still very um, are still happening currently. Like I said, the laundry business did not die. It's still available. It's still there. Somebody's managing his name very well. I do my laundry there. The event planning business did not die. We still got jobs. We have cameras, we have drones, we have in part of what the event business has brought. So we didn't leave. I didn't leave those businesses alone because it was not succeeding. I left because it couldn't pay the bills I was expected to pay at that time. And because of my eye taste, I can't sit and watch myself go back to the beginning. So I had to do something else to augment for the life I need to live. So in the process of leaving this to another thing, those were experiences I was having. I could tell you that because you have left, it is not every time, it's not what you study in school you practice.
At all.
So would you say the experience is because it is not what you learned in school, that's why you're failing? No. At every business, there's something to learn. In banking, I learned time management, I learned to be under pressure. So those are experiences I needed, which has helped me to become the better person I am right now. So at every stage, I was doing something. I wasn't there just because I needed to start up. I was there to learn something that could make me a better person. So those were the experiences I was able to take and I was able to work with and has given us the level of commitment with our at the moment.
Wow, that's massive. So, sir, sorry. This question was going to come, and I want to because I understand the Nigeria climate, and I know that sometimes, sorry, it's a function of what you know, a function of what you do, and all. Sometimes you just need there's just moments that just have to work for you. So, in your real estate business, are there key defining moments that change, that things just change for good, like rapidly, that you've had? And if yes, do you want to share it with us? Do you want to share those key defining moments?
I would say that yes, there are, and in everything you do, integrity matters.
Mm.
Integrity has paid off for me in a very big way. I would also say that um, some of the moments that were very helpful was when we started our first project. I was under my paid employment when a friend of mine said, "Well, I believe so much in you. And I feel it's something you could do." At that time, I was so scared because I was enjoying my paid employment. I was earning a lot of money, and I felt like I was fine. Why do I need to go and start something on my own? But so whom much is given, much is expected. So I think I have a commitment of also becoming a leader and helping other people grow. So I cannot just tie myself down because I was enjoying, or I was comfortable. So when my friend spoke to me about it and said to me, "Oh, I need you to take up this responsibility," I said to myself, "It's also a process, and you learn from it. Either you fail or you succeed. It's a learning process." So those moments where I had those conversations that changed my orientation about starting again into business were very key to me. And thank God I was able to also push myself to not relenting because I was already succeeding. Not relenting on, oh, what if the business does not work? Why would I leave a place that is working for me? But like I said, those were experiences. Banking was working for me. I had a lot of awards I collected when I was in the banking industry. So it worked for me. So it was not as if it was not working. So because it's working for me does not mean there's no higher challenge up. And the only limitation everybody has is when you are not ready to upskill where you are. So upscaling was very important at that point. Another key point also was when we started and we needed to get a piece of land around town in Abuja, and it looks like nothing was working. It looks like we couldn't get it because of the price they were putting on it. Yeah, we didn't have the fund at the time, but like I said, integrity spoke. We spoke to a company, and they were ready to support and do business with us, and that was how we could get the property we were expected to do, and it went well. And ever since then, we've been fine because at every challenge that comes, there's always a solution. My pastor will say that problems comes because there's a solution that you need to leverage on.
Our pastor will say.
Yes, our pastor. So it is the success that I need to leverage on. That's why the problem keeps coming. So when the problem comes, it is left for me to go and think and ask myself, what is the solution that God has given me to provide to this? I tell people it is when you have it in mind that you want to make money alone without adding value. That's when you see yourself not making money. But when you add value to people, naturally finance comes to you. Money comes to you. So once you learn that, which was the part at which I learned, things at work in ways that I myself could not say. Because when you put yourself out to people, when you serve people, when you're trying to be a solution provider, not just trying to collect from people, then you notice that you keep moving um, ahead of time and you keep succeeding.
All right, so you said so many things, and there's I'm going to link something together. So you mentioned the fact that you first wanted to get your first major project in Abuja in the middle of town, and then you spoke to a company and you spoke about the fact that integrity matters. So sorry, I want to drill down. Do you want to tell us that story of how first? I mean, I think at that point, have you been doing small projects outside Abuja or outside town
No, so
prior
when
to
I
that
when I,
time?
when I meant integrity was while I was with my boss, I could people could see how intentional I was about with them, how I could fight for them even when they are not there, how I wanted them to succeed, how I encouraged them to succeed, uh, to own a home themselves. So it was out of the willingness and the fact that they trusted me with little by buying from my boss, and I was able to deliver to them what they've actually gotten. That was what spoke when I went to them and said, I needed to do my own. I told them, oh, I needed to do my and they were happy because they could trust me with little and it came out. So
You didn't know you from like so. The company is it a company or you just went to a set of people that you've done business? So I think what I want to be sure is the story of okay, you went to meet them. Were they an organization or was it just a group of people and like okay, I've left what I'm doing, or I've left that my boss, I'm now on my own, or I just want to have full understanding of the
it's,
picture.
it's a group of people
Oh, okay,
who
okay.
who who are who are into um who are trying to get places for themselves.
Okay, so are they like a cooperative society or something like that?
Something like that.
Okay, okay. And then you've done something before for them, and then they just thought
Then,
let's
yes.
let's plan. Okay. Yeah, why I ask is because sometimes most of us we underplay the importance of having to give good value, even when it's not our business. And then we get to our business, we really don't have anyone who can help us.
I would say relationship with people really matters. So how you take care of the people you meet, even at their low point. I would say even the connection from the first job came from somebody who could not buy from me, who I was able to render some level of help to, who spoke about me somewhere, and that was how they did the first thing.
Very good, because I was going to get there. Because in this business, when it comes to real estate business, in fact, not just real estate business, any business, relationship management is key. So I was going to come there because I think your role in banking was sales, yeah.
Yes, please.
I think one of the advantage of having to work in a bank and sales department, if you have not had that opportunity, one of the advantages is the fact that you get to build relationship, you get to learn relationship management. So I want us to talk about relationship management. What are the keys? Oh no, I'm waiting. All right. What are the keys that you think you can share on helping people to manage relationships, on how people can manage relationship with their customers, with their colleagues, in a way that it would help, make sales later, help them make sales later, because relationship management is even key to making sales in the long run. So, what are the tips you can share to people randomly on that?
I would say value everybody you meet. Um, the security man you think is not worth your time would be your link to your success. And relationship with people really matters. How you hold people and how you value them. Even the way you speak to them actually matters a lot. And I would say that in getting or in improving in life, even if you are not married, to get somebody who you want to spend your time with, the way you speak to the person shows how much the person is going to be committed in the relationship. So if you can keep your home, you can keep your friends, then you should also learn how to keep your customers, how to keep your prospects, how to keep the people you meet around you. And little help goes a long way. Little conversation, little gesture, go a long way.
So, sir, if I heard you correctly, you mentioned several things as the key to manage relationships. You said give value, you said call people, check on them, and every of those things. That's good. But I now want to find out, because at the end of the day, sometimes you keep relationship, you give value and everything, and they still don't turn out well. So I'd like to know, when it comes to business, and I know the real estate business requires a lot of funding. How do you generate funding? Now, in line with the fact that yes, you need relationship, because even in the first place, except maybe you're maybe getting loans from banks and everything, and even loans from banks still need relationship. So how do you get funding for your business? How do you get funding? Because funding is a major challenge in Africa.
Everybody has their particular way of running their own company.
Okay.
I would say I personally have leverage on relationship, and leveraging on relationship, I've leverage on partnering with people. It's greed most times where um, people really don't want to share their company with other people.
Hmm. Okay.
So I've leveraged on the ability of not just uh, owning the company, but also bringing in people to support the business. So there are little ways where you can put your own little funding and also partnering with people, either from what they can give or what they have uh, intellectually that can help your business grow. So as much as this um, um, things that you have to do with funds, because you need great funding for the kind of business we do.
Yes.
So if you have to do the kind of business I do, you need to be able to be open minded with people who you have built relationship with over time, and that's where your integrity comes in. So people only give you the capacity at which you can carry
Honestly.
and the trust at which they have for you.
Yes.
So if there's no trust in what you do as a person, then who wants to partner with you?
Mm.
So if you are going to start and funding is a major issue, then be open to putting up your shares with people who also have the value to give, but they are actually busy to run with you.
Business.
Yeah. So while you are using your brain, let other people use their finances to also help you support what you do. So we make use of people majorly in what we do to be able to move ahead of time. We leverage on banks also to do some of the business we do, because very people take loans, so loans are not bad things. So as much as you have a plan for what you're taking, then you should all be able to approach the banks. By the time they check and they see with what you have, you can then definitely get little funding to grow your wealth. Rich people use other people's money to make wealth, but the average man believes every wealth you need to make must be your personal money. So that is not my own ideology. My own ideology is, if the banks can use people's money to make more money, then why can't I also use the same leverage and leverage on it? So if the percentage the bank is giving is 2 digits, then I should put my profit also higher than what the bank is giving. So I can be able to pay back and also have something to live on.
Perfect. So one of the things that matter is leverage. You should know how to leverage. So, and also, does that mean you don't own 100% of Rubies?
I don't think Rubies is not a personal sole proprietorship. Rubies is I'm the founder and the chairman, but we also have people who have partnered who have bought some level of shares. So they're not buying the company; they are buying some shares of the company. So it is shares we sell. We don't sell the company structure to people.
So that means I can buy shares of Rubies
Definitely,
if I make more money.
definitely. We are even planning to launch a new platform the same way the bank will tell you that you can also own a part of the bank, and they tell you they're selling shares for people. It doesn't mean Tony is not the owner of UBA.
Definitely.
So the same way we also put up our shares and tell you this is the value at which we are expecting to grow, and this is what we can give to you. At the end of the year.
Will you get public? Do you look forward to becoming a public company? Maybe being listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange market.
Definitely. That's part of our plan. Real estate is not the only business we are going to do, so we are just scratching the surface currently, and I can tell you that the same Rubies you know today, in 5 years to come, is going to be a global one,
And we will be there.
Definitely.
We will be there.
Definitely. So we are currently not just in Abuja alone. We've gone beyond just staying in Abuja, and also this year we are planning to go outside of Nigeria to also do something great outside of Nigeria. And
Wow.
it's like I said, in 5 years we're really going to be out there the same way.
Wow.
Everybody is.
So I want to ask you a question for the benefit of those people like me that are doing 95 and our take home is not even taking also not talk about say we want to own a property. Honestly, this one is my own question. How can we own real estate properties with the current earnings in this country? How? Please.
So one of the things I tell people who are really interested but don't have the capacity is don't be greedy with owning a property alone. If your earnings cannot get you what you need, then co-own with people and share profits.
Should we stop? That one is on, Abi. Okay.
Yeah. So co-own with people and share profits. You don't build a house in a day. You start by doing foundations and doing foundations and putting a house up. So if I need to own a space that I've dreamed of, I can start small. I can decide to start buying little with a friend. What we can afford. We buy, we resell. By the time we get our profit, we can reinvest again. Until I have the capacity to run, to stand on my own. So, and I met a wealthy man who said to me that he had to live in a rented apartment after owning his own place for 5 years. And I asked the question why. He said because where he stays is a little money. Where he owns is a lot of money. So he rents the place and the rent of that place pays for him and also pays for another property he's buying.
Oh wow.
So he's buying small. So that was how he was able to own 2 properties from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Like that. So the rent of those places were paying for his rent and also taking care of the bills of owning another one. So most times leverage on people, leverage on the economy, leverage on the government. Also leverage on them because every policy favors some people. So if the government is favoring this sort of people, leverage on the people the government is favoring and key into them, build something with them, and before you know it, it keeps getting bigger. The reason why people stay at a point is because they're not ready to share their success with other people. So learn to share your success and you always get bigger. Why would the president of the US decide to give you a platform where you can buy up your passports.
Yeah, $5 million.
It's going to leverage on you to build this country. Leverage on people. Leverage on people. You don't even need to, if your salary is not giving you what you want, you don't need to leave your paid job to even be a salesperson. You can talk to a friend who has the finances to buy, and you get a commission of it. I use those commissions to even buy something better. I have someone who is making hundreds of millions just by bringing people. She's onto a 9 to 5 job, but she earns hundreds of millions just talking to a friend about a property. And the way she's getting the money, she's using the same money to buy her own property.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So that's why I said you have to also think outside the frame of your work alone. So you can't say, oh, because I used to be in a bank or because I work in a bank. You meet people every day. You have conversation with people. People are coming to see you and smiling and they're talking to you. You build connections with them. You may have somebody who is doing something and they need that thing. So why don't you talk to them about what your friend is doing and earn money from what your friend is doing? So working smart is something, working hard is another thing.
Frisbee is up to 5 years or more than 5 years.
No.
How many years?
We are going to be 4 this year.
Okay, in over 4 years of existence of Frisbees and that great level of experience you've had in your personal business. So, will you say that you have a 10-year plan for Frisbees?
Before we started, there was a plan for the next 20 years.
That's not
So every year, all we do is to put on our vision board what we have for the year. I tell people that you can't see me writing the plan for the year at December. No, they've always been a plan. All I need to do is to just go back to the plan and put it up on board and say this is what we are running with. So if your dreams are not far bigger than what you can do, then it's not a dream. We don't run our dream every year. We run our dream 5 years. So we have a 5-year plan that's vision board that we work on. Then we have a 10-year vision board. We have a 15-year vision board and a 20-year vision board.
Wow.
So all we do is to see where we are and see where we are going to,
and then
and
just
just plot a graph around it and tell ourselves this is what we are running with.
please share this video with your family and your friends. And if you have any comments, please drop it in the comment section. We would like to read your questions and whatever it is you have to say. And trust us, we'll respond to you. All right, sir. So this is the last question. Hopefully your answer will not bring another question. But this is the last question for today. So you drive around Abuja. You see so many houses that are empty. From Katampe to Jai to Guzape, even Asokoro, and some places in Maitama, like they are really empty. And then you see people in stock in Maraba, in Pape, and all of these things. What do you think we can do? Say government is listening like this now. What do you think we can do? Because it seems as if most of these luxurious places are far beyond people's reach, and people are living stuck in Guaripa. But Guaripa is even getting people are stuck in Kubwa, people are stuck in Bamaraba. To even rent, to rent a 2-bedroom flat now in Apple resettlement, you are hearing 3.5 million and every of those things. So, is it something you think we can do? And even if the government is listening, or something you think we can do on this matter?
That's a very interesting question. And I would say that as much as our fingers are not equal, the same thing that is happening here has also happened in several places or has been happening before now. And I would say that if the government decides to give everybody equal value of money today, some people will still remain poor. So if you are not working towards being among the people who can stay where you want to stay, then you need to work on yourself to stay there. And what the government also can do is to see how we can regulate the housing committee to see how people can also, what the government is paying as an annual fee or as a monthly fee can also impact in where the people can also stay. Because I say that why build a house where people cannot live in? Why do you have to put up a house where people cannot buy? So a lot of people are using their houses for investment, and they are saying, "Oh, because land appreciates so fast and drastically, that's why you see that some of those houses people are not staying there because people are actually also tying down their money to a greater investment in future. And then if the government can also now put up affordable housing, where it's not just individuals trying to build wealth for themselves, if the government comes in to put up in cheaper housing funds for people, I think that will also help reduce the level of how where people stay is being cleared. But I will say to you that, like somebody in the positive said, that if you cannot afford to stay in Abuja, then go to Nasarawa. If you cannot stay in Nasarawa, go to Kogi State, where you can afford. Why? Because this is the federal capital, and the federal capital is also supposed to be a safe place for some elite set of people.
Hey God, though.
So
My chest.
not everybody, not everybody can stay in the capital of the country. Not everybody is allowed to stay in the capital of the country. So as much as possible, all you need to do, like my pastor would say, is work yourself worthy to get to where you want yourself to be. So instead of beating and waiting for policies to be changed to favor you, do what you need to do and don't kill your dream. Get yourself to a part where you can afford what you technically call luxury, but it's not luxury. But you can live and say that this is where I want to be and this is where I am.
All right, sir. Sorry. A question that I just remember I'm supposed to ask. This one. If anybody wants to start a real estate business now, say a younger person, and I just want to start, say from someone who is like maybe 10 years older, younger than you, and wants to start a real estate business, what would you tell them? What are the things you think you would like to share with them?
If you're going to go into the real estate industry, my advice is look for someone to learn under. Just look for someone to learn under. Then you'll be sure if that is the next step to take.
Okay.
As much as you want to, don't give up on your dreams, but always look for somebody to learn under. And whoever you learn under will determine the outcome you become at the end of the day.
All right. Do you have any personal advice you'd like to share to anybody, any business person, random, like any business, regardless of the business that they do? Any personal advice, anything that you wanted to share with any business person, any entrepreneur that you'd like to share?
The only advice I share with people, majorly, is don't leave God out of anything you do. I've not seen any worldly man who does not believe in God. I have not seen. I've gone through every
In Nigeria,
biography, not just in Nigeria.
because there are rumors that some people like Bill Gates, they don't believe in God.
So the way you carry God might not be the way they carry it. But everybody believes in God Almighty. And I've listened to, you could listen to some of the words he has used. You know that he does not just believe in God, he trusts God to do things for him. So the only reason why America works today is because they keep shouting God's bless America. So why would I be there and I don't believe in God? So if God is the ultimate, then what are you waiting for? Believe in him. That has been what has worked for me. That has been what I've seen over the years that people believe in. And it has worked for them. Because something does not work immediately does not mean God does not exist. And because it does not work your way does not mean God is not still God. So in anything you do as a business owner, as everybody must not be a business owner anyways, but as a business owner, as a staff somewhere, anything you find yourself doing, put God first. And you'll see that things work in a different way for you.
All right. If you can recommend, so I'm going to be very fast with this. If you can recommend any two people to be on this podcast, this Business Uncensored podcast, who are the two people you would like to recommend that they come around here to share their stories, their business stories, and everything on this podcast?
Okay, there's someone that comes to my mind every time I have to recommend. His name is K. He's the name of a big community in Abuja called HAAWK. And the reason why I keep recommending him is because I feel he has a vision for people and he has a community he's building that would actually be a voice someday in the world. So that's one person I would say I can recommend for you. And another person I value so much that I think I will also recommend is my pastor, Pastor Godwin Ubame. He has been of great influence to me, and he has a lot of wisdom in him that I feel when he shares, he really does not know how some of us run with it. So I think that if he also comes and shares some of his level of wisdom, I've heard pastors talk. I've heard a lot of pastors talk. I'm a very huge fan of listening to a lot of people, but he speaks differently with wisdom.
Pastor Godwin Owubame, please take your flowers.
And I feel it's someone that I really want everybody to hear and listen to, especially when it comes to business and how to achieve success in life. Someone that I highly recommend.
Honestly, I first of all want to really appreciate you for your time today because it's not even easy blocking you and making it happen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And then this is me saying thank you so much for the time that you've given us. And all. Do you have any question you'd like to ask us, ask me, or about anything as we round up?
Well, I don't have a question. It's just a piece of advice that never give up. You may have started just a little. I could remember we had this dream in my office to do, but because there was no push, we stopped it. So when I see people doing something they really want to do, I'm very happy. And I would say that you don't know where God is taking you to with this little thing you think you're doing. Honest Bond started just like this, and people are hearing about it. A lot of other broadcasts have started that I know of, that I watch, and I can tell you that the sky is your limit. So don't give up on it, and I'll see you at the top.
Thank you very much. So, if you've joined us so far, this is us saying thank you very much for joining us on this second episode of the Business Uncensored Podcast. See, honestly, I personally would go back and watch these videos again because I'm not just here to be the host, I'm also here to learn. And please, I want to beg you, ensure you share this video with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. And if you have questions, comments, please ensure that you drop those questions and comments in the comment section below. And do subscribe to our channel. I am glad to have you join us today. See you in the next video. My name is Peter Babajide. I'm your host on the Street Banker YouTube channel. God bless you. Bella ciao.